Hi everyone, it's Daisy. Welcome back to my channel. Back with another video. So today's gonna be another story time, kind of educational. I just really wanted to hop on and share with you guys something personal that I went through in my life. I'm not perfect. That's why I'm here. That's why I wanted to start my channel. To share my story and share like stuff that I've been through, um, to like spread my story and to help people ultimately, to like tell them like I went through this and whatever, like you can get through it also. I'm not perfect, so this is me telling my story also. And I'm saying that because this video is going to be on my first spiritual awakening, because I've had several. But this one was the most powerful one I've ever experienced in my life. Um, I'm nervous. I feel like I'm all over the place. This intro is gonna be awkward, but um, grab a snack, grab a drink, or grab some tea. I know I have a drink because I'm nervous as hell for this video. Um, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna title this my first spiritual awakening. It's gonna be about my story of my high school sweetheart. Um, yeah. Uh, my setup kind of sucks, but it's okay. Um, Whatever. I'm just gonna hop into it. Okay, um, so it's a spiritual awakening. So a spiritual awakening is like I mentioned it in one of my previous videos. If you haven't watched it, go watch my other video about how I became spiritual. But this is a big main story, so I wanted to do this one next. I was so nervous. So spiritual awakening is like when you go through something crazy in your life, like say someone passing, you have to move, you lose a job, a breakup. That's me. That's when I experienced my spiritual awakenings, during breakups. Um, and this is gonna be a story on that. My first spiritual awakening, my high school sweetheart. Um, um, I'm so nervous. So I'm gonna leave details down below of the necklaces that I'm wearing and the top that I'm wearing. Sorry about any background noises. Um, James is still here. He's still awake, and he's on his tablet playing video games. So if he like makes noises, it's just James. He's right here next to me. Um, yeah. So okay, I just decided to just hop on and do this video. I wrote no notes, nothing. Um, this intro is so long. It's so awkward. I'm just nervous. So skip through it if you want to, but um I just wanted to hop on mainly because of my hair. I got my hair done again. I got it touched up, and it's so fitting because honestly, in high school, I um I used to love to color my hair. Like I was addicted to piercings, and I loved to color my hair in high school. But my mom is kind of strict, so she probably would have never let me have done this in high school. And my sister, who did my hair in high school, she would probably she never wanted to bleach my whole head because it's hella damaging, and I would probably cry if my hair fell out. That's probably why she never wanted to do it. But I finally did it. Like high school dream come true. I'm freaking gonna be 28 like next week, and I finally did it. It's so freaking pretty. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to do this video before my hair color washed out, and because again, shout out to my friend Curtis. I swear he's probably one of my soulmates. Not like romantically, because I believe soulmates can be a friend, it could be your dog, it could be your brother and sister could be a soulmate. Like, it's just about like soul, like a soul bond, you know, and then obviously romantic soulmates. But I don't know, he's just always there, like, and he motivates me, um, and yeah, he's the one who messaged me and was like, "Where's the next video?" So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it." So shout out to him for pushing me to do this. I'm just gonna hop on. I'm a really emotional, sensitive person, if you know me in real life. So when I honestly, before I started my YouTube video, I was like, what if I start crying during story times? Like, should I cry on camera? And so, half of me is like, yeah, just cry, be your authentic self, be your real self. That is my whole purpose of this. Let's be real, let's tell my story, let's tell the truth, and be my authentic self. So who cares if I start crying? But also, I kind of don't want to cry on camera. So if I do start crying, I will pause it. And also, again, I'm not gonna include people's names. I will try my best. Oh my god, if I end up saying his name, I'm gonna pause it and edit it out. Like, I'm not trying to use nobody's name. And honestly, I will be mortified if he messages me and is like, "Don't talk about me." I would be mortified because that's not what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm not trying to stir up drama. Like, he's happy probably in another. I know he's in a relationship. He's happy in another relationship. She seems like a catch, and I'm not in a homewrecker. I'm not no side chick. We're grown. We're mature. We're mature. That's some little girl stuff. We don't do that here, and that's why I want to tell you the story, because this this guy did. I was very immature with him, and that's why I want to tell my story. I was never always perfect. Nobody's 100% perfect, but yeah, he's moved on. Whatever. He has a girlfriend, and I'm not trying to get any messages, drama. Like, don't talk about me. That's not what I'm trying to do. This is educational purposes, whatever you want to call it. Telling my story, spreading awareness, and I just want to help people. I want to share my first spiritual awakening. So I'll just start from the story from the very beginning. Oh my god, that was such a long intro. That was like 7.5 minutes, but it included a lot of stuff that I wanted to say. But anyways, maybe I'll put a time stamp. I don't know, but okay. So when I met this boy, it was in middle school, and it was in 8th grade, and I remember our middle school had academies. It was divided into 3 groups. It was like integrity, liberty, and excellence. And I was in integrity, and I think he was in liberty. But when we were in 8th grade, they got rid of academies, and that's when I met him. Our classes got combined because they eliminated academies, and he's a smart kid, and I was a smart girl too. I had him in my honors math class and my honors English class. That's how we met, my honors classes. If you want more background on my educational history, I also have another video on that down below if you want to go watch it. Chicano education. Mexican American, and proud to spread awareness on that. I'm a citizen, first generation, but yeah. Anyways, a whole other topic. But yeah, that's when I met him, and he was nerdy. I hope he doesn't hate that I say that, and I'm not throwing shade, because honestly, I love nerds. I love smart guys. I love nerds. I love shy boys that are like quiet and mysterious, and that's what it was. I even had a shirt in high school that said "I love nerds," and it was like Hello Kitty. Like, I love nerd, awkward people, whatever, and that's what he was. And I remember 8th grade, I was again, I've mentioned this before, in middle school I was really loud, and I was really extroverted, and yeah, that was my personality in 8th grade, if you knew me. And I remember he is not like that. He's very shy. He was very quiet. And I remember it kind of started because I would walk into math class, and this is probably going to give it away to a lot of people who knew me in high school, but I don't care. I'm telling my story. But he had like really long curly hair. And around the time too, I don't know if you guys remember Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite came out, and I was obsessed with Napoleon Dynamite. Again, like I said, I love nerdy, awkward guys, and I was obsessed with Napoleon Dynamite. Like, as my whole family, like I was obsessed. And so he had that like long curly hair, and I was like obsessed with it. And I remember I would walk into math class, and I would be like, "Can I touch your hair?" And he was like, he's shy, almost like grumpy vibe, and he'd be like, "Sure." And I used to love it. I used to just like touch his hair, just to like mess with him, to like low key flirt with him, and like I don't know, just he was shy, and I was like a loud ghetto girl, or whatever you want to call it. Like our group of friends were totally different, and I talk about that also on my Chicano education video. So yeah, fast forward to the end of eighth grade. The end of eighth grade, I started like changing my crowd. That's when like the city where I grew up in is like divided. Like one side of the city is one type of way, and the other side of the city is another type of way. And that's how it was. So it was like one group of kids went to Mont Miguel High School, and another group of kids went to Monte Vista High School. And I was a part of another group. Like I'm saying, I was part of another crowd. And that crowd, they were all transferring to Mont Miguel. And the area that I lived in, I was automatically enrolled to Monte Vista. And I remember I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my friends. I'm going to be a loner at Monte Vista. I mean, at Monte Vista, like all my friends are going to Mont Miguel. The whole crowd was going to Mont Miguel. But like oddly enough, destiny, whatever you want to call it, like towards the end of eighth grade, I became close to these two chicks. I don't know if I should say their name. I don't think they would care, because I'm not saying nothing bad about them. Their names were Michelle and Roxanne. I got really close to them towards the end of eighth grade. I think because of Michelle. I had Michelle in my honors math class, and I think I had Roxanne in my English honors class. Shout out to them. That's so crazy. But I love them. Don't mess with them. I'll come for you. Even if I haven't talked to them for years. I love them. Yeah, so I started getting close with them. Michelle, yeah, I remember Michelle was in our math honors class also. So yeah, then my crowd started shifting. I started hanging out with them. And I remember like me and this guy, we would like flirt, like you know, at the end of eighth grade, it was like you would watch movies and do activities and stuff. Like we would watch movies. I remember it was like perfect. It was called like, what is that, West Side Story, where it was like the Puerto Ricans against white people. I don't know, but it was like, it was perfect because Maria, she was the main girl, the pretty girl. Maria, she's Mexican, and I'm Mexican, so it was I don't know. That maybe that was just in my head, but it, you know. He's like, Maria, like, oh my God. I can really do that. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, I remember we used to watch that movie a lot in English honors class, and I remember like, I don't know, we just had a vibe. So whatever, eighth grade was over, and the summer going into high school, that's when me and him became like super tight, like, and that's another thing. He had a best friend. And his best friend kind of was a catalyst also of us talking to each other, because in middle school, you know, it was like cool to like talk on the phone. Well, I used to talk on the phone sometimes with his best friend, and one of those nights he happened to be spending the night at his house, and he was like, yeah, I'm spending the night at so-and-so's house. I'm not saying names. And I was like, oh, no way. You know, remember how I told you I like to mess with him? I like to touch his hair. Myself, my extroverted self, I was like, I love him. Can I talk to him? I want to say hi to him. And so he passes him the phone. And of course, he's all shy, like, hi, what? And I'm like, hi, it's me. Like, save my number, write down my number, call me. We should talk. Like, yeah. Like, I was so extroverted in middle school. And he just like, yeah, okay, I'll call you. he did jot down my number and he did call me, and that's when it all started. Like, we became so freaking close. Like, I would say we probably talked every day. I remember I didn't have a cell phone in middle school, and that's another thing. Everybody was getting cell phones in middle school, but I didn't have a cell phone. But one of my cousins did. So every time, and I was close with her at the time, so every time I would go to her house, I would ask to borrow her phone so I could text him, and we would text all the time. And like, he would just always respond. Like, I didn't have a cell phone, but if I were at any friend's house, any family member's house, I would call him, I would text him, he would always respond. He would always respond. And I got used to that. And you know what that equals? Codependency, people. Well, at least for me, that equaled codependency for me. And that was the start. James made a noise, so let me start again. So yeah, that was kind of the start of everything. It was that summer of 8th grade going into freshman year. But as I was getting to know him, before I mention the other part, also, do you guys remember in middle school where, like, if you became best friends with somebody or like something, then you would make a date? Or a big major one, like when you started dating somebody or started talking to somebody, you guys would make a date. Well, our date was June 30th, 2007. I'll never forget that. 6/30/07. And MySpace days, when you had your headline, you would put in your headline. Like, we both had it both in our headlines. 6/30/07. Like, bro, so throwback. But anyways, while I was getting to know him, yeah, I'm not perfect. So I was involved with somebody else, and that guy, he was kind of my first, I wouldn't say first love, I will say puppy love. I will say my high school sweetheart was my first love. But the boy before him, I would say that was puppy love. And since it was puppy love and also dumb and immature, I feel like that's why it took me a while to let go of him. And because that was like so toxic. Like, I mean, that boy would literally like bang other girls in front of me, have other girlfriends in front of me, and I would just still be there like, but I like you. Like, so dumb. So that was just toxic. So when I met this other boy who was always there for me emotionally, and I developed that codependency, it was a big shift for me from that really toxic guy that gave me no emotion to this boy who I felt was always there for me emotionally. And honestly, ultimately, I thank him, because I think he helped me let go of that very toxic guy. But if you know about psychology and stuff like that, obviously, or even common sense, like, if you leave one toxic relationship, it leaves residual pain, energy, trauma, whatever, and you carry on to your next one. And honestly, that's what I did. I probably carried that toxic energy, trauma into this next relationship with him. And but I think because he definitely helped me let him go. That was very toxic, and he was just this guy, his energy reminds me of the color yellow. Like, it's just bright, like just the color yellow. The song Yellow by Coldplay reminds me of him, but I don't like to say that because I remember back in like MySpace days, he shared that song, whatever, and it had nothing to do with me, but that song reminds me of him. The song Yellow by Coldplay, he just has that energy, so I thank him for that. But yeah, honestly, like, this isn't an apology video, but I will say sorry, because I'm gonna say sorry because I think I was the toxic girl in this relationship. Like, I had experience from the previous one, and I don't think he had much experience. And I will admit that. And again, me, and I even try to tell him that we're different ethnicities, different cultures. Sorry, different cultures. And again, I'm not trying to put the blame on anybody else, but like I grew up around my sister and my older cousins, and they were in toxic relationships themselves. Like I would see my sister like fighting with her boyfriend on the phone. I would see my cousin fighting with her boyfriend on the phone. And now I was in this relationship, and I was like, I'm gonna fight too. I'm crazy too. I'm jealous too. And it's like so immature, that mentality. But I was a little girl. I was a little girl. Um, I was a little girl, and it's just, I don't know. So sorry to him. He dealt with the most immature version of me. Um, and he took it. He was patient. He dealt with me for like 3 years. And I think it was because his personality. His personality is very mellow and like patient. But I think ultimately that's why we didn't work in the end. I don't know why we didn't work in the end. I don't know what his reasons were, but on my end, that's what was hard for me. He was very, and I think it has to do with culture, because he was white, and I don't know if this is racist for me to say or stereotypical, but I think everyone would agree with me, even white people. But obviously, white people are raised way different from Mexican people, and I'm just gonna say this. I'm not trying to sound racist or stereotypical. If I do, freaking tell me, educate me. But I just think white people are more like, they don't show affection. They don't really kiss, hug, and show affection. And I know that's just not him, because I see it on TV and stuff, and they even say it. Compared to my culture, we kiss when we say hello. Like we hug, and you have to kiss and hug everybody in the room. And I don't know. We're different cultures. I hope that doesn't sound bad, but I think it had a lot to do with my culture. Like I would see my sister, my cousin fighting, and I would just be like, I'm crazy too. I'm jealous too. Like my boyfriend's gonna get it too. And that is so immature. Don't freaking do that. Like if you are, just don't do that. Like if you're in middle school, high school, yes, you have an excuse because you're a kid. But if you're a freaking adult, do not do that. Like, and that's my purpose of this video. Like, after me and this guy broke up, I went through that crazy spiritual awakening, and I told myself I would never be like that again. And that's why I'm talking about this, because it's so cringe. And I know, like, saying it out loud is like, ugh. Don't be like that, people. Learn from my mistakes. Don't be like that, because in the end, we broke up, and it was like a huge part of my life. But yeah, like I don't know if I want to go into detail like stuff, but pretty much from my side, I don't know if it's the Leo in me, or I don't know if it's the girl in me, or just I just wanted more affection. I wanted more like boyfriend gestures, and he wasn't that type. Like I keep saying, he was really shy, he was really quiet. Like if anybody knows him, like he's kind of intimidating too. Like you almost don't want to start a conversation with him. And I wanted like grand gestures. Like, for example, like, in high school, if your boyfriend and girlfriend, you'll show up to the games together. He never wanted to show up to the games together. Like, what I wanted for him was to like text me and be like, are you going to the game? Yeah, me too. Okay. What time are you gonna go? Okay, me too. Okay. What are you gonna wear? Okay, yeah, me too. Okay, want me to pick you up? No, okay. Like, that's what I wanted, and he wouldn't do that. Instead, it was like, oh my god, like, should I go to the game? Like, what if I bumped into him? Like, and it would just be like weird, like awkward vibes. And so he would go to the game separately for me, and I think it would like confuse everyone around us, because it's like, are you guys dating or are you not dating? Because we wouldn't do like boyfriend and girlfriend stuff like that, but we were always together. Like, for example, like he wouldn't text me like, are you going to the game, how you getting, da, da, da. And we wouldn't show up to the games together, but we would show up separately. But as soon as we saw each other, as soon as our group of friends got together, um it almost felt like he would like claim me instantly. Like, you know, when you're sitting in the bleachers and he would boy sit between your legs. Well, this boy is 6'3" and I'm 5'2". So if he sits between my legs and he's like this with his arms, with his big old Letterman's jacket that's like a blanket on me, I can't move. I can't go nowhere. And I don't want to. I want to stay here with him. So that's what it was. Like, we wouldn't show up to the games together, but as soon as we were at the games, boom, he would claim me. He would sit between my legs. I was his girl, and I think everybody knew it. Everybody knew I was his girl. Like, at school, like, that's what hurt me with him. Like, we were I can't talk. Like, we would do, like, we were together all the time, passing period, breaks, lunch, before school, after school. I would go to his games. We would be together at the games. But like, when it came down to like little boyfriend things, he wouldn't do it. Like, pick me up to go to the game, take me home, like little stuff like that. Like, and when he wouldn't do stuff like that, it would make me feel like he didn't like me and he didn't want to date me. So again, my immature self, instead of communicating with him, no, oh, wait, I would communicate with him. Believe me, I will communicate how I felt. I'll cry, I'll complain, but he wouldn't do those gestures for me. So after a while, it made me feel like he didn't want to be with me. So what do you do when you're not getting that attention from them? You go look for it somewhere else. And maybe that is selfish, and I don't know what we would call that, but I really wanted him to do this stuff. But when he wasn't doing it, I would feel like, so I guess he doesn't like me. And other boys would do it with no problem. Other boys would gladly go to games with me. Other boys would gladly walk me home. Other boys would gladly ask me to winter formal. But I wanted it to be him. I wanted it to be him so bad. But he wouldn't do it. So I had no choice but to talk to other people. And I did. And I did it multiple times. I dated like 3 people on him, I think. And each time, as soon as I became official with like that other person, it would be like, what are you doing? Like, no, like, I accidentally said his name, so I'm gonna edit that out. But yeah, I'd be like, what are you doing? Go back to him. Like, this doesn't feel right. This isn't your home. This isn't your comfort zone. That's my thing with him. He felt like home. He was my comfort zone. He was like my emotional crutch. That's like codependency. So when I became officially like another boy's girlfriend, it would like click, and I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't your home. This is your comfort zone. Go back. So like, the other relationships literally wouldn't last. Like, they would end quick, within weeks, 2 weeks, 2 months, because my heart was with him. And I think he knew that. And I think everybody knew that. But, you know, boys want to shoot their shot, and the tension was there. But then again, like, I would become official with them, and then I'd be like, what are you doing? Go back. And they'd be like, no, where is he? And he would be there for me. I'd be like, no. And I would call him, and he would answer. And it would just go back to how it was. And he would forgive me. He wouldn't show very much emotions. So it would just like brush it under the rug and we would go back to our normal routine. But in the end, that didn't work. At the end, he did date other people too. There was one girl, and that actually became his girlfriend. Um, Screw her. She tried to say we weren't incompatible. We weren't compatible, which she's in my mind back then. I was like, why? Because I'm Mexican. Um, but he came back to me. We got back together. So whatever. Um, but he's not innocent either. Because I know some girl even came and told me, like, I asked him, is that your girlfriend? And he just, like, he doesn't really answer. He just ignores me. And, like, I would be like, when she told me that, I was like, oh, I know, he's shy. But now looking back, I'm like, that's kind of shade. But that's how he was. He was just, like, grumpy, monotone, shy. And honestly, guys, from day to day, I couldn't even tell you if we were together or not. Because, like I said, I wanted extreme affection. I wanted gestures, and he just wasn't that type. So every day, like, I was toxic. I'm not gonna lie. I was toxic. So every day I would just be like, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do your homework with me? Like, you don't like me? You don't care about me? Oh my God. And I'd be like, I'm not talking to you anymore. And like, it was almost like I would break up with him every day. And, but then like the next morning, it was like nothing happened. Like, we would just meet up again in the morning, passing periods, lunch, like nothing happened. It was like our routine, like, Daisy, whatever, you do this every day. And again, that's what a spiritual awakening does. So when we broke up, I, 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 I see all the ways that I was acting, and I told myself, do not ever do that again. And I didn't. To be honest, all of my relationships after him, I'm telling you, like, when you go through a spiritual awakening, it's almost like it is. I think it is like you're depressed. You're going in a depression, and so that's how I was. And I I just sit there and I evaluate everything. And I think as human beings, you should do that. Like, if something happens, you need to sit there, you need to evaluate your actions and what you did wrong and change. And that's what he did for me. He made me see all of my little girl ways, all my little girl tactics, how my culture influenced me, how the people around me influenced me, my insecurities, and what I want in a relationship, attention. And you evaluate all that when you're going through your spiritual awakening. You go through all of that, and you have to stick to it. You have to change. And that's why I thank him. And I just think that experience, and I thank him. It's my first spiritual awakening, and I was 17, y'all. I was 17 when I went through that breakup. Like, so I've been this like spiritual woke person since I was 17. That was like my first like ego death, pride death, like cultural programming, like stuff, all of that. Like, I became aware of all of that. But yeah, so I dated other people on him, and I apologize for that, because at the end of the day, it was always him. Like, I always wanted him. I wanted him to do that stuff. I wanted him to tell me, to invite me to winter formal and do this like big, like asking me to winter formal and we're gonna wear this color. And he just wasn't that kind of guy. And I think maybe that's why we didn't work out, because I wanted that and he wasn't that kind of guy. Um, but yeah, like sometimes too though, like I wonder, like for example, like he was also jealous too. Um, I hope he doesn't get mad that I say that, but like I wasn't allowed to have any male's numbers on my phone, and he wasn't allowed to have any girl numbers on his phone. And I would be able to see like recent contacts, and I would see that there was like recent like random numbers that I didn't know. So I knew he was talking to other girls, and it did come out when we broke up. I found out he hooked up with like multiple girls that I knew of. So it's kind of embarrassing that these girls were probably laughing in my face, and you know who you are, because I know who you are. I wish I could put people on blast and say their names, but I'm not gonna do that. Um, yeah, and that's a whole other topic. Fake friends, dude. There was two girls in particular who literally pretended to be my friend, and after me and him broke up, I found out they were like they. One girl, he played water polo, and I would go to majority of his games, home games, and she would be at the water polo games. She did swim, so I think maybe that's why she was always there. But I remember she would sit with me at his games. I'm there as his girl supporting him. She would sit with me at his games and would be like, um, oh, she's the one who told me the tea about that one chick who said me and him aren't compatible. She told me the tea on that chick because that was her best friend. Man, I wish I could say names so this wasn't confusing, but yeah, this girl pretended to be my friend, and she's the one who told me, oh my god, can you believe someone, well, it wasn't dramatic like that, but she told me that, like, oh yeah, she said she didn't think you guys were compatible, and I was just like, whatever. And she was like, oh, and I make good chicken, I make good fried chicken, you should come over and I'll make fried chicken, you could try my fried chicken. And I'm like, yeah, one of these days. Okay, she's with me, hanging out with me, trying to befriend me at my dude's water polo game. And when all of this was over, she hopped on his D like it was not even funny. And best believe I checked this girl. And I hope everybody remembers that. Because in my senior year, we used to do party buses all the time. And me and him were kind of a part of the same cliques, but kind of not. But he did end up on one of my party buses. And so did that chick. Excuse me, honey, no, we're not doing that. Every time every time she tried to get on him and dance on him, I was like, get off of him. Get off of him. You're not doing that in front of me, miss. And I hope you're watching this video now, because girls like that are not okay. You do not pretend like you're my friend, and then as soon as we break up, you hop on his D. All that tells me is you want my sloppy seconds. That's some weirdo stuff. Like, why be fake and be like, I'll make you fried chicken. Oh my god, can you believe she said you're not compatible? And then you're gonna hop on his D right as soon as we break up. No, honey. That's not what we're doing. My laptop is dying. Okay. Oh my gosh, my bad. That's so real. Because I just can't stand girls like that. And several girls have done that to me. Several. That's why I don't trust girls. If you're wondering why I don't really have girlfriends, that is why, honey. Oh my god, did you see my scrunchie? Remember when people used to wear like this? We're bringing it back. No, well, my phone was, my laptop was dying. But yeah, we're not doing that here, sis. And again, I wish I could say her name but whatever. Screw people like that. But anyways, there was another girl, more tea. There was another girl who did that to me. And she went as far as messaging me on MySpace and being like, oh my god, you guys are so cute. You guys are such a cute couple. I'm obsessed. And I used to be like, oh, thank you, thank you. And she was a little Mexican chick too. She was like 2 years younger than us. And She even sent me a song. It was by the Main. It was called Daisy. And she was like, "This song reminds me of you." And I remember I loved it. I was like, "Oh my God, I never heard that song before." It was called Daisy. And he's literally talking about a girl saying, "All for you, my Daisy." And I was like, "Ah, little girl, again." She went on a freaking date with my dude. She went to the freaking movies with him. And people were telling me, like, "Oh, yeah, she hangs out at the pool. And I seen her flirting with him. They be flirting." And I'm like, "What? This chick be messaging me? Talking about, you guys are so cute." Dude, if you're wondering why I don't have girlfriends, that is why. And these two chicks aren't the only girls who have done this to me. Girls have done this to me several times. Like, why do you want my sloppy seconds? Who are you trying to compete with me? Like, I don't understand here. If he's my boyfriend, that's some weirdo stuff. But anyways, like I said, and I hope, again, I'm gonna mention this again, I'm not doing this, like, I believe in karma. I'm not trying to, like, stir problems in his relationship, get back in his life, and, like, do all this stuff. No, I just want to tell you guys my first spiritual awakening, because I believe in karma. I'm not trying to get into that, but I will tell you, in high school, I was like that. In high school, and let me tell you, this is the only guy I ever acted like this for. Yeah, when we broke up, I was a mess. I was a freaking mess. I remember, like, I didn't eat, like, I was depression mode. I literally felt like a part of my soul was, like, gone. Like, I didn't want to do my makeup. I didn't even want to get dressed. Like, I remember we broke up around, it was before winter formal, because I remember winter formal was so fucking fun. Oh my God, I was just cussing a lot on that last part, and I'm gonna have to edit that out. But yeah, I remember we got a party bus for winter formal, and it was so fun. But we broke up before winter formal, so it was the middle of senior year, pretty much, where we just he actually broke it off with me, because if it were up to me, I would have kept going with the cycles, but he cut the cycle. But yeah, and since he was the one who cut the cycle, I was like, I won't sugarcoat it. I was acting desperate. And I can say this because I see other girls acting this way now, and I'm just like, that's desperate. I would never act like that for any man. This is the only guy I ever acted like this for. I remember I was texting him. I remember I was blowing him up, like, please, I would do anything. I remember he was already in another relationship, and he straight up told me, just go have sex with someone else and you'll get over me. And I was like, oh my God, like, I was like, I don't know. It was just really hard for me. And I remember he had that girlfriend. I was like, I just want a hug. Like, I wasn't trying to break them up. Like, I just wanted closure, I think. I just wanted, like, a hug. I wanted, like, I don't know, I wanted something, because I was just so used to that, like, emotional codependency. Like, he was just always there, and just, I don't know, he was just like, nope. And it was hard for me. But again, after all that happened, I told myself I will never do any of this shit again. And believe me, I've never acted like this with any other guy after that. And I think guys straight up took advantage of that, because after him, I was like, I'm never acting jealous. I'm never acting crazy. I'm gonna give guys space. I'm gonna give guys freedom. Like, I will always stick up for myself, but I just always, like, after him, I just became like a totally different girl, and I became the girl who got walked all over. And yeah, and I guess maybe that was my karma. So if he wants to know, I got my karma. Like, I've been through so much crazy stuff after. Like, I have so many story times. Like, in general, well, overall, I'm just gonna say 3 guys have promised me marriage and kids, and in the end, it didn't work out. So maybe that was my karma for how I hurt him. I don't know, but I don't know if I hurt him like that. I don't know, again, because he's so quiet, and he literally blocked me. He was the first boy ever to block me. And yeah, I never block people, but he was the first person to block me, and he still has me blocked. Still to this day, he has me blocked on everything. Um, yeah. So just the Daisy that he got was totally different from the Daisy that I am now, and the Daisy that all of my boyfriends after got experienced. Because, like I said, I will tell those story times, and they're gonna sound completely different to this. Because I was a little girl with him. How old are you when you're in eighth grade? 13. I was 17 when we broke up. My first spiritual awakening was when I was 17. So imagine, like, there's people who are barely going through their ego deaths right now. I went through that when I was 17. Like, I had to swallow my pride. My ego died. Like, just so many things I evaluated about myself. And I changed completely for the rest of my life. And I can never go back to that. Never. I'm aware of all of that. And I can never go back to that. And that's why I want to talk about it. Because I don't want other girls to do this. You know, like, if you're with a guy who's like that, I would try to put up with it a little longer, because it sucks when you guys break up. But also, don't let nobody, oh my god, I hope you guys heard me say that. Yeah, like, if you're involved with a guy like that who doesn't really, like, try to show emotions, but you really love him, like, just try to put up with it for as long as you can. Because now I'm like, if I come across a guy who's not very, like emotionally expressive and stuff, like, and if I really love him, like, try to put up with it. Do not go look for attention somewhere else, or not be a cheater or whatever. I never did that with any of my boyfriends after that. Never. Because, and I hate that I did that to him. But again, that's life. You learn. And I went through my spiritual awakening. Please believe. Like, I was dying. I even, like, yeah, like, I had to make, like, all new friends because his friends were my friends. It was hard. Like, I had a girl embrace me. She became my best friend for a while. And her man was, like, deployed. So while I was going through this breakup, she was, like, going through her stuff because her man was deployed. But yeah. I don't know what else to say about that story. I'm trying to think. And also the other way around. If you're a guy who has a hard time expressing his emotions and doesn't know he wants to do those grand gestures and stuff, but you really like that girl, just do it. Do it. Because then you can lose that girl. There's going to be another guy who's going to come along and try to snatch him, and he will be willing to do all that stuff for her. I just had a deja vu. He will be willing to do that stuff for her, and it will just suck. Because, you know, if you want that girl and you lose her because you don't want to express your love for her, like, it's not okay. Express your love for people. Tell them you love them. And girls, be patient. And boys do that too. Hold up. Boys do that too. Boys go look for attention other places and yada yada yada. It's not only girls. I'm not the only person who's ever done that. I don't know what else to say. I think I said everything. Oh, one more thing I wanted to address was friends. Because, okay, so this guy, he played baseball, and he played baseball in our city, and he grew up playing baseball with a lot of boys in our city. I don't know what to call it, city, whatever, wherever we live. And he's known for his baseball. He almost went pro. Um, so I know this because I don't know how to say this without sounding really bad. Well, pretty much, I just want to say, like, he was my main dude. He was my main guy. Everybody knew I was his girl. But for some reason, even his friends, even his teammates would DM me and try to start conversations with me. So when that would happen, my thought process was, okay, that's his friend, and I want them to like me too. I want them to think that I'm cool too. Like, if we're all hanging out, I want them to think like his girlfriend's cool. So when they would message me, I would message back, and I would chat with his friends sometimes. But let me tell you, it was never me first. His friends, his teammates would always message me first. Always. And at the end of the day, I think they all knew I was his girl, but boys are boys, and they DM'd me. And like I said, that was my thought process. My thought process was, they're his friends, and I want them to like me too. I want them to think I'm cool too. But some of those messages did lead to other stuff, and I did end up dating two of his teammates in high school, senior year. And one of those teammates, he straight up told me, yeah, we used to tease him all the time in practice. We used to be like, yeah, I'm gonna message Daisy, yeah, I'm gonna take Daisy on a date. And then they used to tease him like that. And when he told me that, I was like, why would they do that? That is so immature. Like, they're just getting in his head, making him insecure, stirring stuff up in our relationship, obviously. Like, so when me and him would talk after practice, it made me think, maybe that's why he was being grumpy with me. Maybe that's why he didn't want to do those big boyfriend grand gestures, because he was being teased at freaking practice. I don't know if that's the reason why he didn't want to express himself, but if that is so freaking lame, boys. Don't do that. I know that's locker room, high school, middle school boys stuff. Don't tease your dude. if if your if your bro has a hot girlfriend that everybody wants to date, you should be like, bro, take care of her and treat her right, because there's a line of dudes waiting. Not, let me tease him and say, I'm gonna take your girl on a date. Because what that's doing is just stirring problems. Maybe that's why when we finally talked after practice, he was a douche to me. Maybe that's why he didn't wanna go to games together and go to dances together, if he's being teased at practice. That is so childish, y'all. Please don't freaking be like that. Because at the end of the day, I always wanted it to be him. In high school, I wanted it to be him. Like, I wanted it to be him so bad. Like, if you listen to Paramore, All I Wanted Was You, Paramore was my jam in high school. Literally, all I wanted was him. So all these other boys who would tease him, whatever, you know what it was. And these boys individually, I would say have good relationships with them. Like, I don't think they hate me and I don't hate them, but I do think that that's dumb. Don't tease your boy if he has a hot girl. Like, don't tease your boy. Like, you're a hater if you're teasing him. And it sucks that he listened to them, because maybe he was like, maybe she's a hoe or something, when it's like, they were just hating because I was your girl. I don't know. Just so many lessons, y'all. So many lessons. And I freaking rambled through this video. I say that at the end of every video. I don't know what I just said. I just rambled. But I really did. And I hope I covered everything about him. This is huge. I never thought I would do this, but I'm so happy. My hair looks so freaking cute, y'all. Again, this would have been my dream in high school, so it's so fitting. In high school, I had, uh, they're called peekaboos because they're like random, like I would have like random strands of hairs. So my sister would call them peekaboos. I had red, I had turquoise, but the color I had the longest was hot pink. If you knew me back in the day, you would know I had that random strands of hot pink. So yeah, this is definitely my high school dream with this hair. But this is awkward if he watches this, and this is awkward if all you guys know us personally from high school. But again, I just wanted to share my story, my first spiritual awakening, because when we broke up and I lost that like codependency, because he was like my only friend, like he was my only one, like he was my only one. Like if you knew me in high school, I had no friends. He was like my only one. His friends were my friends. So when we broke up, I had to make new friends. Like I had to make a whole new crowd. And those girls know who they are. And that one girl who befriended me and took me in, shout out to her because I needed her at that moment. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna watch this back. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. I have way more stories coming up. Like I said, I've had 3 guys promise me marriage and babies, and I want to say the story about that. No names, of course. Um, yeah, subscribe. Please subscribe. Help me get my followers up to 1,000. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Um, yeah, I guess. Good night.